A group of friends who have traveled to the Catskills to celebrate Elise's birthday are shown to us. They discover that Haley and Grant have broken up while they are there. They discover after a while that they have finished the beer and that it cannot be brought to the mansion they rented. After saying he's positive there's alcohol stashed away somewhere, Paxton proposes they all search the estate for it. They come across a door with a keep out sign on it during this time, which they choose to ignore. Lucas then destroys the door to gain entry. When they get to the cellar, they discover no alcohol. But when they find out that the basement is full with eerie items, Haley explains that it's all vintage astrological apparatus. Paxton shows the others an odd box of tarot cards he discovered in the interim. Haley accepts when Elise asks her to read aloud to everyone, but she remarks that the cards appear to have been hand-painted and that she has never seen anything like them. She says that the major arcana has a card for every sign of the zodiac, and the reading is more accurate when the planets are included. A burst of wind blows right before they start, shocking everyone. Haley advises against going forward, citing an unwritten rule prohibiting using another person's deck. However, Haley grudgingly consents to do so after Elise persists that it's her birthday. She says that there are 12 tarot cards arranged in a circle that symbolizes the signs of the zodiac, with a crucial 13th card in the middle that both reveals the reading's overarching topic and helps the other cards make sense. Because she is a Libra, Elise frequently follows her curiosity into uncharted territory. Although she is moving up the success ladder, the High Priestess's inverted symbol serves as a cautionary tale to maybe slow down. Rushing could lead her to make a mistake and sustain a crushing blow. She then gives Madeline a reading and notes that she prefers to flee when she detects danger, which makes sense given that her zodiac sign is to fish swimming apart. But this month, she ought to resist that impulse and make an effort not to become fixated on anything. As Paxton uses the restroom, he sees a figure standing outside, but it vanishes when the lights abruptly come on. As a Virgo, Haley typically seeks to make sense of things, but she warns Paige that this month may provide some difficulties in doing so. Because of the magician's cunning and ability to obscure her vision, Paige can feel as though she is being pushed into different directions. When Paxton comes back, he turns down their request for Grant to get his card readings. When Paxton decides to get a card reading instead, Haley tells him that the Fool card in reverse acts as a warning not to act hastily. She tells him to stay near people he can trust and says not to panic if he feels trapped or constrained. She then informs Lucas that he is a rule follower, practical, and sensitive Capricorn. She says that she thinks his financial circumstances will improve and that love is in the air. The Hermit card in reverse, however, might be a sign of bad judgment and a caution to pay attention to his guidance. He is a person who will go above and beyond for love, but he needs to stay focused because the Hermit's light could mislead him. When Grant finally consents to receive his readings, Haley informs him that, as a Leo, he is a born leader who is devoted, giving, and loyal. Leos, on the other hand, are sometimes brash, conceited, and driven by a constant need to be correct. Grant begins to walk away, believing her to be making this up, but Haley stops him and tells him that the Devil card symbolizes his darker side. His journey is quite dark, and this month he must confront his demons and make a sacrifice, or else he runs the risk of losing someone significant. After that, Haley reads her own horoscope by drawing cards, and it says that love will be her downfall. The gang heads back to university the following day, and Elise is by herself in her room since everyone else has gone to a fraternity party. She emerges from the restroom while speaking with Paige on the phone and is shocked to see a ladder leading to the attic. When she doesn't hear anyone answering her invitation to come upstairs, she shuts off the attic and enters her room. After a while, Elise hears laughter coming from outside and is disturbed by it. She walks outside to check, believing some females had returned, and is startled to see the ladder there once more. Before it vanishes, a figure behind her makes a fleeting appearance. Elise hears laughter and running in the attic, and she believes that Natalie and Claire are trying to frighten her. She goes up the stairs to investigate, but when she doesn't see anyone, she starts to get a little worried. Suddenly, there's movement, which makes her worrying worse. She hears laughter coming from downstairs as the dorm lights begin to flicker, but she is unable to see anyone. The atmosphere in the attic has shifted as she glances up again. She notices the High Priestess card in front of her, and as soon as she picks it up, she is haunted by something that makes her stumble. Elise tries to grasp her phone, but an invisible force pulls her back as the monster pulls the stairs up. Elise tries to escape, terrified, but the monster uses the ladder to bash her to death. The following day, Elise's death is announced to all of her friends, who are startled and devastated. Since Paige is the one who is most impacted, Haley chooses to spend the night with Elise. When Haley tries to comfort Paige when she abruptly wakes up from a nightmare, Paige tells her that she can't stop seeing Elise's face whenever she shuts her eyes and that she thinks Elise would still be alive if Paige had been there. Haley says that whatever was going to happen was going to happen. She discloses that she was raised in an old Minnesotan home. It was just she and her mother after her father left before she was born. When her mother fell ill, all of the remedies she tried proved ineffective. That was her introduction to tarot. At first, it was just a means of helping her make sense of the world. She had numerous readings, and each one said her mother wouldn't survive. She didn't want Paige to hold herself responsible for Elise's demise because she was powerless to halt death. Lucas notices the thing behind him, but as he turns to look, it's gone. Now the lights are flickering as he gets to the train station. He chooses to ignore it and continues on, but as he does, he hears ominous noises and is horrified to find a man standing far away. Lucas is startled when the thing starts to approach him and flees into a forbidden location in an effort to escape death. He trips over a newspaper there that says, "You died today," and he's startled to see his picture printed on it. Before he can make sense of anything, the entity haunts him. He is trying to understand the situation when the horoscope that Haley said begins to reverberate around him. Lucas gets on a train and hides, hoping to escape, but the creature finds him again, and this time it kills him when the train speeds past. After learning of Lucas's passing the following day, the friends are shocked, and Paige advises that they spend the night together for security. Haley notes that every death lines up with the tarot readings, which makes the gang believe there must be a problem with the deck, even though Grant isn't buying into it. As Paxton advises that they seek an expert, or someone who knows what's going on, Haley looks up the name of Alma Estrin, a tarot reader and expert in the occult, while researching the risks associated with horoscopes. They discover through reading an article that several people in Mexico passed away following a reading. Alma Estrin initially requests that the group depart once they decide to see her. According to Haley, their friends are passing away as a result of their readings, and if they do nothing, they would to pass away. Alma opens the door upon hearing this. Haley tells them that two of their pals passed away precisely as foretold by their horoscopes. Haley acknowledges that she doesn't have the deck when Alma requests to see it because she doesn't own it. Alma queries Haley about whether the cards were housed in a wooden box featuring a zodiac wheel. Haley attests and demands that Alma clarify the situation. Alma reveals that these cursed cards are to blame for a number of tarot reading group massacres, including one in London that she barely avoided by doing everyone else's readings but her own. Ever since, she has been searching for those cards to destroy them. Then, she discloses that the cards belong to an astrologer who predicted the future for a Hungarian count in the late 1700s. The grieving count accused the astrologer of witchcraft and gave his troops orders to kill her daughter after a reading prophesied that the count's pregnant wife and child would die in childbirth, and this came true. The astrologer, who was filled with intense sorrow, read the count and his close associates and prophesied their deaths. She then took her own life. Her destiny and theirs were sealed when she tied her soul to the cards. The Count and those closest to him perished horribly soon after. After obtaining her retribution, she cursed the cards and turned the zodiac, forcing anybody whose horoscope was read with those cards to confront the unfavorable aspects of fate. If the group wants to have a chance of surviving, she exhorts them to destroy the deck that is still at the mansion. Their automobile mysteriously breaks down on the way to the estate and comes to a stop on a bridge. They start to worrying because, based on Haley's Madeline reading, technology will break down without warning. After Madeline loses her mind, she discovers that a hanging guy is being drawn on the glass. Madeline flees the automobile in terror, and the others notice something circling their car. As Haley tries to stop Madeline, a noose appears around her neck, and the thing pulls her up before she can respond. At that point, they observe the entity racing for Madeline with a rope. When Grant and the others arrive, Madeline's lifeless body is still hanging there until the thing raises her up once more. They all flee in terror, and after a while Paxton makes the decision to exit, declaring that he is finished with this. Paxton hears laughter as he makes his way back to the campus, but when he looks around, he sees nobody. He attempts to run away because he is scared, but to his surprise, he sees the fool's reflection on the door. His fear increases when he realizes that the fool is staring at him from a distance. Fearful, Paxton rushes into the elevator to get out of the danger, but as he gets inside, he realizes that the numbers are rising and finds himself confined, exactly as Haley had predicted in his horoscope. The fool is standing exactly in front of Paxton when the door opens, and before he can respond, the fool charges inside the elevator and kills Paxton. However, Paige reserves the mansion, and they go back to it. She discovers from a website that the best method to get rid of an old curse on an object is to burn it. Some cursed artifacts must be physically destroyed, while others have a link that must be broken. When Haley tosses the box and the cards into the fireplace to burn them, they are surprised to find that the cards are not burning. They claim that something akin to the hanged man has slain their companion and they're calling Alma for assistance. Alma discloses that the ultimate outcome card is brought to life by the astrologer, who takes on the shape of the cards like a shapeshifter. Alma instructs them to take the astrologer's creation against her by severing the spirit of the astrologer from the cards. After making several attempts to speak with the astrologer, she eventually manages to call her. Alma informs Haley she can't move when she sees that she is bleeding. After that, the astrologer gets up and takes charge of the cards. Alma adds that this means the astrologer is interpreting her horoscope. Alma is soon hauled into the shadows after the astrologer pulls the Six of Swords. The pals are terrified and attempt to get away, but when Alma's lifeless body drops in front of them, their dread only grows. Paige unintentionally loses track of Grant and Haley during their escape, but she can hear Haley pleading for assistance from the basement. The door crashes behind her as she enters the basement, and Haley's voice grows ominous. After that, the light starts to flicker before the bulb blows up, and Paige meets the magician, who puts her in a box and chops her in half. Grant and Haley talk about breaking the spell upstairs. Haley says they could be able to reverse the curse if she looks at the astrologer's horoscope. Grant is not sure about the plan, but Haley is adamant, telling Grant they had to try since they are practically dead already. Haley is startled to see the devil approaching her as Grant is abruptly yanked out of the window and vanishes into the night. The death then materializes, and Haley escapes the chamber just as it is about to strike her. As she tries to run, the death attacks her once more in an attempt to murder her. She is saved, though, by Grant, who stays behind to stop the thing and encourages her to complete the reading. The devil attacks Grant as Haley rushes to finish the reading. Haley swiftly uses her deck to give the astrologer a reading as the devil drags Grant away. She discovers that the astrologer's cards are all in reverse, signifying excruciating suffering. Haley assures the astrologer that dwelling on the past will not alter the future and that she is aware of what it's like to lose someone. In a fit of rage, the astrologer throws Haley into the air and attempts to murder her. Haley, however, firmly asserts that she has read her cards and that everything is finished. The astrologer then notices the death card. Haley eventually lets go of the astrologer's soul and her mother's sorrow. The curse ultimately consumes the spirit, which is then burned next to the deck. After making up about their love and survival, Haley and Grant set out to return home. They meet up with Paxton en route, who managed to survive his ordeal because Todd, his roommate, accidentally opened the elevator door just in time to cause the fool to vanish. And the movies end here. To ensure you never miss any updates on new videos, kindly click the bell icon and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.